This is Christian comedian and content creator John Crist. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's no other way to pronounce that other than Christ, and that would be weird. He just so happened to be in Utah earlier this year on tour. Now, when I saw that John went to one of our church services, I prepared myself for the worst. But to my surprise, it was the most level-headed human reaction video I've seen in a long time. And he posted a second video about it later that was also great. Now, I wanted to bring John's content up because one, I think it's hilarious, and two, I think it models really well how to approach a faith that is different from yours, and I gotta give the guy props. Let's watch some clips, starting with this one that gives a bit more background on how he ended up at our church in the first place.
So I have my show on Saturday, right? My show on Saturday in Salt Lake City sold out in a day. And then we put on the Sunday show, and it's not selling. Somebody goes, Mormons can't do Sunday. Oh, yeah, that's part of their religious practice. That's their Sabbath. I could come out to a comedy show on Sunday. I go, oh, so Saturday night, I'm sitting in my hotel room. I go, I'm just going to post about it. I go, hey, I'm in Salt Lake City. How does it work? Can I come through? Let me come through. Is there, I think I said, is there coffee? What time does it start? Thousands of comments from the kindest LDS people, and they got that going for them.
If you have questions about another faith, go straight to the source. John hears something different about Latter-day Saints, and instead of just looking stuff up on the internet, he says, all right, where do you guys meet on Sundays? I'll be there. I love that. If you're curious about what a Catholic church service or an evangelical church service or a Latter-day Saint church service looks like, just go. Nobody's going to bite you or brainwash you or baptize you. Unless the organization is on some kind of FBI watch list, you should be good to go and check things out. So he went, and of course, he compares what he sees with what he's used to.
Update, they do not have coffee. And I don't think it's a funding thing, because I looked around and these people got money. I think it's a moral thing. I don't think coffee, the beans, I'm going to need somebody to explain that to me. Everybody's wearing a suit. So don't walk in looking like this. They'll probably think you're homeless. And then all the women are in like skirts and long dresses. And listen, I've been to my church. We could use a dress code, honestly. It's getting a little bit out of hand in the non-denominational churches. There was, I was going to say, it's the pastor. I don't know if that's the term for him, the leader, and he did a reading out of the book of Alma, which is not, I memorized all 66 books when I was in Sunday school. Alma is not in it. So I was like, well, I'm just here. So I'll just, learn. We did some, hymns sitting down, by the way, not standing up. And then we sang How Great Thou Art. And I was like, listen, I know this one. I sang along with this one. And then we did like the first, I took a photo of it right here. Like the first, I don't know what it was, something of Joseph Smith. And I was like, well, this is not, I'm a conscientious objector to this one. I'm gonna observe.
I'm fine with conscientious objectors, sing whatever you want. But I also love that he is self-aware enough to recognize that just because we do some things differently doesn't always mean we're doing something wrong. For example, he spent a lot of time in both of his videos talking about the sacrament.
Let me just tell you, because we did communion with bread and water. I didn't do it, by the way. I was like, I'm good. I'm straight. We did bread and water. So the Catholics do bread and wine. My tradition does bread and like grape juice, which is all a symbol anyway, so why not water? Like, what if it's tap? What if they did sparkling water? What if they did soda water? Like, what if you did if you're like, I'm sincere about communion, all I have is Fanta. Is that allowed? Does that count? Well, I don't really have any ground to stand on here because I drink grape juice.
Yeah.
And I think this is a symbol of Christ's blood.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be wine. Mm-hmm. But it's not wine, it's unfermented.
Yeah, so we're both using alternatives.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's off the course then.
Fair, yeah.
So then can we just go more off the course? What about pineapple juice?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In essence, where's the line? Mm-hmm. Where do we stop?
And just in answer to his question, he's absolutely right. We use water today, but in the Doctrine and Covenants we're taught that it mattereth not what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink when ye partake of the sacrament, if it so be that ye do it with an eye single to my glory, remembering unto the Father my body which was laid down for you, and my blood which was shed for the remission of your sins. If Fanta was all people had available to them, you'd probably have to get the okay from your local leaders, but in theory, yeah, it would be fine. In congregations today with members who have gluten allergies, you might see them eat something like rice checks instead of bread. That's fairly common. But as he continued to describe the meeting, there were a couple of things that really stuck out to me, and I want to know if they stand out to you too.
There's human beings involved, and that's what makes it funny. Like there was a lady in the back sleeping. I go, oh, okay, so they're just regular humans. Like she was probably out late last night. And then this lady, old white lady got up and she was like, I went on a mission one time in Africa and the drums and the music was so loud and they were like singing. It was so great. And then she leaned over to one of the black, like elders or whatever that was like on stage, just like a regular black guy. She was like, you know what I'm talking about, right? And he was like, what? It was like kind of racist to say. It was hilarious because I looked over this young guy that was like next to me and I was like, is that? And he was like, we were dying, dude. And I was like, oh, these people cool with me.
Latter-day Saints are regular people, just like anybody else. I love that he doesn't take the stance that these are deceived, hell-bound cultists. No, Sheila's in the back taking a nap. People are saying weird stuff from the pulpit during fast and testimony meeting. This is stuff you'll probably find in pretty much any church that involves human beings. But the second thing that I love is that when he heard something that seemed a little off, he didn't throw his hands up in the air and say, see, I knew these people were crazy. Instead, he looks to the member next to him, sees his reaction, and understands, oh, okay, so this isn't necessarily representative of the membership at large, and he doesn't take it too seriously. By the way, why is it that whenever any content creators visit our church, for some reason, it always seems to be on the 1 week a month when we have our open testimony meetings?
And then they didn't have a message. They had in comedy terms, you call it an open mic. Everybody can just come up here and say whatever they want. And I think, I could be wrong about this, but it was the 5th Sunday of the month. So this is an uncommon scenario. So it was just like a free-for-all. Like everybody just come up and give a testimony.
It's a great meeting, but it just always makes you tense up a bit because he's right. It really is kind of an open mic and you never know who's going to get up and what they're going to say. Anyway, after the meeting, he starts asking questions.
This temple situation, y'all gotta help us out here, okay? Because I was like, well, I want to go to the LDS practice on Sunday morning. And they were like, well, you can go to an LDS church, but you cannot go to a temple. So if you ever seen an LDS temple, they usually look a little nicer. They got a little guy with the gold trumpet on the top. There's 150 of these temples in the world. And if you want to go to the temple, you can't just go in there. You got to be approved. I was like, if I go to the temple right now, they let me in? They go, no, you got to have a card. I go, well, how do I get a card? They were like, well, you got to go to your church and get baptized. It's like a season pass or something like that. And there's like a celestial room in there. And I was like, and then she showed me a photo of it. Hold on, I think I got one. I asked her if I could take this photo. I was like, have y'all ever been in there? They're like, yeah, we go in there sometimes. And I was like, so what if you get a season pass to the temple and then you do some bad stuff? Do they take it away? And this is what they told me. Every 2 years you got to renew I was like, oh, so it's kind of like a driver's license. They were like, all right, not really. I was like, has anyone ever tried to go in there with a fake ID? And they were like, no one's ever asked us that. But that was for real. Very, very kind. Obviously, I think Mormons have that reputation. They answered all my questions.
First of all, Temple recommends being compared to a season pass is absolutely hilarious. And I'm glad he got to see some interior pictures of a temple. I don't know if you noticed, but he made sure to say that he got permission to take a picture of those pictures. He didn't really need to tell us that, but what it tells me is that he knows the temples are particularly sacred to us and he's trying to be respectful, which is just good form.
Good form, Peter.
But let me just say directly to John, if he ever happens to see this, temples aren't like cathedrals that you can walk through and check out whenever you want, but after each temple is built, there is an open house for the public. They do tours and you can go through and learn all about what we use temples for. If you're interested in something like that, hit me up and we'll make it happen.
And when I was leaving, I look over and there's these double doors, these wooden double doors, and it says Cultural Hall. And I was like, Cultural Hall? What's in there? And I took a video.
Since they were able to help an individual who was diabetic and facing amputation of both legs.
It was cool to see that John was trying to understand. He saw some of the good we have to offer. He's not agreeing with everything, but he's withholding judgment, and he's also trying to find common ground. Now, if you do want to see a response to a popular creator that was a little less charitable in his comments about our faith and actually did get quite a few things wrong, go check out this video. I'll see you there.